What's up, everyone, and welcome back to another thrilling episode of The Center Beacon. Today's video is going to be kind of a, what you would call in the military, an after-action review. So I had a match yesterday, was running with a couple of my clan buddies, ran into almost a full clan. You can see these guys here, OTF, little shout out to them, really good job on their part. So it was just kind of a match where you weren't really expecting too tough of a fight, and all of a sudden almost a full clan drops in. So kind of had to change up our plan on the fly, and I was just going to go through a couple of things to kind of show you basically what not to do. This match didn't go so well for me, not one of my finer moments, but I thought it would be a good opportunity for pointing out some mistakes, some things I could have done differently. You can see here, this is pretty much a normal opening for me. This is the silver tier or thereabouts. I'm going to come in and try to take the center. When I'm playing with friends, clan buddies, what have you, I often go straight for the center, let the side beacons and whatnot get gathered up by my partners. And I like to kind of go to the center and pretty much hold it, because, I mean, obviously it's a pretty strategic point. And if on most maps, not all, but most, if you can kind of hang on to it, well, then, you know, you're kind of in the driver's seat. So you can see here in the start of the match, we're doing pretty good. We're up 3 beacons to 1. Did pretty decent on this first bot. And then once I get dropped here, basically I waste a lot of bots trying to get back into the center when I didn't really have the support that I needed. Now again, I'm running with 2 buddies from my clan here, both excellent players, really good guys, and then some randoms. And no offense to anyone, of course, but you know, when you get a random team, you often you don't know what you're gonna get, you know, and you're not coordinating. We weren't even on comms or anything, so we didn't have any voice communication, because we were just out basically having fun. And we ran into a really tough team, and you know, it was a really good match, a really fun match. But you can see here, mistake number 1. I basically, you know, push in back to center with a light bot, hoping that those guys stay distracted, so I can kind of sneak in here. And it kind of works, you know, in the beginning here a little bit, but there's just, you know, over to the right, you can't see it yet, but there's more guys pushing out of spawn right there. You know, he's already made his way back to the center. And I start taking a lot of fire in this position. You can see there's 2 guys to the left. There's more guys pouring out of spawn over there. So, you know, if you guys have been around the game for a while, you know that Springfield, there are advantageous spawns and disadvantageous spawns. And, you know, if you spawn on that far side of this dry riverbed, you kind of have the advantage, because then the enemy has to come across all that open ground, and it's not easy to do. So you can see I lost that bot there, and instead of kind of changing gears to a different tactic, I kind of was a little stubborn, and I was like, you know what, I think I can get in there, so let me try it again. And, you know, I try to force it in there, and the Gepard, you know, is really not the bot to do that with, especially if you have a coordinated, determined opponent. You can see there, I'm in the open ground. I'm not even halfway through, and I lost half my bot. That guy I kind of forgot about briefly over there. I thought he was going to push up the ramp, and he basically just waited for me, I think, when he saw me pushing over. And right now I'm on my 4th bot. And, you know, the Gepards I prefer for this tier, silver or thereabouts, or whatever they're calling it nowadays. I like the Gepards for the firepower and the mobility. I like the Rogatkas too, and I started out as a Rogatka guy. Not my favorite bot for this anymore. I prefer the Gepards. I was kind of a convert to the Tri-Mag Gepard. But, you know, the Rogatka obviously a solid choice. But when you're behind on beacons, you know, he's just not as quick. So, you know, I'm on my 4th bot here. I'm, again, pretty stupidly in the no man's land, and I'm taking a lot of fire. And, you know, usually, you know, if you're playing a team of randoms, you can usually kind of get away with this, and I think it makes some of us a little overconfident, and I'm like, yeah, you know, I can get in there and I can finish these guys. And I do end up getting a couple kills out of it or whatever, but I did not get to that beacon. And so now, you know, last bot, another Rogatka, and we're still down 3-2. So, you know, I'm still kind of thinking like, all right, well now, like, you know, the beacon balance or whatever you want to call it is really on their side now. So I've got to get back to that center beacon, probably starting to run out of time to go get a side beacon. And you can see here with this, where their spawn is, they pretty much, you know, they own that spawn beacon. Especially if anybody gets sent out right here like that guy just did, you're going to have another guy coming out of that spawn. So if you're going for their spawn beacon, you're already going to have a one-on-one, maybe even a two-on-one by the time you get over there. That's the disadvantages to the way these spawns work sometimes. We kind of drew the unlucky spawn on this one, and we're essentially playing, you know, 5 versus 3. We had a couple of guys on our team. I don't know if you can see it, but for some reason they spent a lot of time in that center canal. And I'm not really sure why they were in there. And you can see I go down there, and that's it. I'm mech'd out of the game right there. There's their 6th. A pretty competent guy for having a random player make up their 6th guy. But you can see those 2 dudes over there in the center of that canal, and I wasn't really sure what they were doing in there. And I think when you see, yeah, the camera pans around here, and you can kind of see 2 of those guys clumped up in that canal area, not really helping us out, unfortunately. The red team here is doing a pretty good job. They've got all their guys focused around this central beacon. And sadly, you know, you can see a Rogatka gets over there to a beacon on our side, and they start to make this thing 4 beacons to 1. Which pretty much puts the nail in the coffin. You know, the teams are still even, but once this thing goes to 4 beacons to 1, the beacon bar really starts to swing in their favor. You can see those 2 randoms we had, they start pushing out of that canal, and it's, you know, a little bit too late for that. You know, this thing's 4 to 1. Now they're going to push out and try to make a move on the center. So you can see we're, you know, hanging back, and, you know, when you get stuck with randoms and they're kind of not really sure what's going on, you know, it can cost you. And I think it all ties into how they've really made an effort, the developers that is, to change the way Matchmaker works. And some of it's good and some of it's not so good, but they've really made an effort to make these matches more even. So me and my buddies kind of just messing around, you know, we ran into almost a full clan. Good solid players, you know, on the red team, and we didn't have, you know, we got the bad spawn, and we didn't have really the kind of support we needed. And you can kind of see it, you know, it cost us a win there. So I just kind of wanted to go through and point out some of those mistakes that we made, you know, and maybe it helps you guys out for next time. That's about it for this video, and I hope to see you next time at the Center Beacon.